As a bird, as a plane, as Supergirl.
This is Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action.
This is Mark Wade, writer of Superman Birthright.
And you're listening to The Krypton Report.
And you're listening to Krypton Report.
Up in the sky, look!
It's a bird!
It's a plane! It's the Krypton Report!
The All Things Kryptonian podcast, including Superman and Supergirl.
We discuss games, movies, cartoons, TV shows, and comics.
Find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this special episode. So this episode kind of got lost in the mix here. This was some of the Batman special episodes that we were doing last summer for our 80th year of Batman, and this was actually a special one that was requested by Solomon. It did contain the Joker, so that kind of fell into our plan, but it didn't have any live action counterpart to it. Like all the other ones were theatrical released, like The Mask of the Phantasm. So we went ahead and did this one because Solomon had requested it. And this audio, I had to clean it up some. But it kind of gives you a little bit more of a rough appeal and a peek back at how things happen. And it was just fun. And I'm releasing it just as a special episode. And it's kind of cool to hear Solomon so interactive in the episode. So I hope you enjoy our commentary track to the animated feature Batman Under the Red Hood.
Ryan, how you doing today? Zanes, what are you doing? How you doing today?
How am I doing today?
Pretty good.
I'm doing pretty good, buddy. I mean, best I can be when you're an adult. How are you doing?
Good.
That's good.
Mommy's upstairs, watching her show. I don't know what it is. Welcome to the Krypton Report.
All right. You heard the man. Welcome to the Krypton Report. What are we going to be watching today, Solomon?
Batman versus Red Hood.
Batman Under the Red Hood, huh?
I call it Batman versus Red Hood.
You call it Batman versus Red Hood?
Yep.
Okay. Now, Solomon, who all is here with us? Is it just me and you?
Yep.
What? Who else?
Well, see you later, Tyler.
Who else is online with us?
Well, we had a good run, guys.
James.
See ya.
Oh, James?
Yep.
You mean James the Batman Cole? Yeah. And who else?
And Brian.
Brian, Commissioner Gordon Bryan.
What's up, guys?
And you're Solomon Robin.
And what's you?
I'm Nightwing. So who's Red Hood? The mystery continues.
Don't be the Red Hood. Too many violent tendencies.
Mommy.
So today we have been doing our watch
This mommy's violent.
of Batman films and with the Joker. And we've been doing theatrical films. But this is a special occasion because this was requested by Solomon last time when we did our Batman Mask of the Phantasm. And this does have the Joker in it. We thought, you know what? We're going to do this. You know why? One, because this movie is awesome. And it would be fun. So we're looking at 2010's Batman Under the Red Hood. Can you guys believe it's been 9 years since this movie came out?
9 long years.
And I mean, and right off,
Yeah, that's
this is one of the best films they've done.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I totally agree, sir.
This one's a little different. 'Cause we're not like,
absolutely.
how old were you? When did you go see it? This was like, did you buy it? Did you rent it? Like, do you remember the first time you watched it?
I think this came out right about when I proposed to Jen.
Maybe this came out
Okay. What about you, James?
First time I watched it is I bought it the week it came out and took it home and popped it in the DVD player and have watched it unknown number of times since.
Yeah, I'm there.
It's one of my favorite Batman movies.
I don't got the CD of it, but have to see that in the basement. So.
And we watched it with Uncle Caleb last time, didn't we?
Yep, we did.
I remember when it came out, I was working at Blockbuster, and I took it home and watched it. And then I bought it in 2013 when I was at that used video store, and it was like 5 movies for $20. And I ended up buying. Somebody had sold a bunch of these DC animated films, and at that time, we had just bought. I think we had just bought the Flashpoint Paradox, used from the video store, and then I saw that, and I bought. It was this one. I think it was this one. Year One, Doom, Batman 66. I think Gotham Knights maybe, and I just took them all, and that's when I started buying them all, because I had a couple, but that's when I got serious about buying every one that came out. So.
All right. Well, this is one I definitely need to upgrade to the Blu-ray copy, right along with my Batman: The Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and 2. I want to get the extended edition of both of them together on a Blu-ray copy.
Hey guys.
Solomon James is talking.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, Batman Under the Red Hood is one of the best. I mean, if you want to talk about like the 2 best Batman animated movies, you've got Mask of the Phantasm and you've got Batman Under the Red Hood.
All right, go ahead, Solomon.
I'm going to agree with you there.
Do you watch the Big Bang movie?
No, I don't think they've seen that one, buddy, because that one's more for kids. Okay? That's Ultimate Batman Monsters vs. Mechs, I think it is, that we watch. Yeah.
Oh, is that like one of the Batman Unlimited?
Yeah, Unlimited yeah. He loves the Mech versus Monsters, I think it is, or something like that. Or Mech versus Mutants, because it's got Bane in it. Solomon loves Bane.
I do.
Now, before we get started here, guys, how are you watching this, Brian?
So I do not own a copy of this film because I'm a failure. No, I am watching this on DC Universe because that is the only way I can watch it at this time. So
You gotta love our DC Universe.
Hey,
I do love my DC Universe.
And then, James, how are you watching it, buddy?
I decided to watch it on DC Universe as opposed to my DVD because I wanted the HD quality.
Cool. I like when we do things differently. It gives us kind of a room to discuss maybe changes or anything in the film. Solomon and I are sitting here in the Cave of Solitude. We got our big bucket of popcorn, don't we?
Yep.
We got it. We got our movie and our TV here.
And drink.
We got our drinks, our juice and water. We're watching our DVD copy, and I have mine queued up right here, fellas, where the blue WB is starting. It's like the first second you see the blue of the WB sign. So I'm not
when
sure how
I hit start on, yeah, it's when you hit start watching, it starts forming in DC Universe. James, I'm on like 3 seconds in, and it's kind of making that W and B moving through.
Yeah, I'm at 2 seconds. I'm at 0.02, and just the blue of that is starting to pop into frame. So.
All right, mine looks like it's at 4 seconds. So.
Okay. Mine's now at 10 seconds, saying Warner Premiere.
Mine is 30 seconds.
All right, let's see if we can get it all the same here.
Okay.
All right, I
believe yours at 10.
Ryan,
yeah, mine's at 10.
You're at 10 seconds?
Yeah. It just says Warner Premiere 10 seconds in.
All right, I'm at 10 seconds on DC Universe.
All right,
okay.
hold on, I'll tell you what I'm at.
10 seconds.
Daddy,
We're at 10 seconds. Yes. All right.
you said you'll take us to the. You said you'd take us to the fair on the weekend. And you did it. You said on Friday, maybe we're going to be going to.
Is that somebody's boy?
That's James's boy, Jimmy.
Hey, are you going up?
All right. Just let me know when you guys are ready.
Yeah, I'm here. My daughter came in. Yeah, anyway.
Hey,
Yeah, my
She headed to bed soon.
that's fine. You know how it is. That's why we do this, so we can edit.
my kid he's just laying at my feet. I fed him a lot of cheeseburgers today, so he's having a pretty good day.
All right.
He's all passed out.
You guys ready? We'll do 1, 2, 3, and on 4 we hit go. Here we go. Ready, everybody at home listening? We're at 10 seconds.
Yep.
It says Warner Premiere. 1, 2, 3, go. A Time Warner Company. Soon it'll probably say
DC logo is being formed.
I like this logo. You know, it only appeared in, 2 movies, I think? Like, theatrical. This was kind of the DC logo they did for Superman Returns. I don't know if it was in the theatrical Green Lantern or not, but... Okay, here we go.
I don't know. I'd have to go back. It's they went through 3 different DC logos in the last 10 years,
Yeah.
15 years maybe.
Now,
Yeah, I didn't like the D that looked like a page turning. I thought that looked stupid, but I like this logo.
not yet, buddy. Did either of you guys ever read the Red Hood comic where they bring back Jason?
Not until after I saw the movie, and actually not until I got DC Universe. So pretty recently, actually.
I read it 9 years ago after I saw this, and I can't remember all the details, but I just remember thinking that I liked this better. Because if I remember right, it involved Superboy Prime punching the source wall or something, help bring him back, or something.
Well, I never read Death in the Family. The only Jason Todd thing I ever read, and I actually own it, is Batman: The Cult with Deacon Blackfire. Awesome story if you haven't read it.
Robin's not been served yet.
Nope, Joker took him shoes.
But I never read Death in the Family, and I never read Under the Red Hood. I guess the only Jason Todd stuff I've read is a little bit of, his little bit in Hush, and then I read the Battle for the Cow.
So I did read Death in the Family.
He was resurrected he was resurrected in Under the Red Hood. They did talk about how he was resurrected by Talia al Ghul.
Okay. I couldn't remember,
not not Ra's al Ghul in this sense here, but
I like this version of how they bring him back. I did read Death in the Family. I mean, it's an okay story. You spend more time with Jason trying to find his mom and stuff like that before he does die. He dies a little bit more heroically, trying to save his mom. But I don't mind this. I don't mind the way they tell the story here. So we have the Joker just leaving Jason beaten up on the ground. What do you guys think of DiMaggio's Joker voice?
Good. Good.
You like it?
I think he's fantastic. Now he's no Hamill, but he's also less jokey. Hamill was still very funny. Was still very much the clown. for a long time. And DiMaggio's Joker, he's, you know, and the way they wrote him and the way he was drawn and portrayed, you know, he's very deadly.
Mikey, get up.
You hurt, buddy.
I unfortunately cannot hear what he sounds like. But I'm gonna have to go with James on that, because I will never forget Mark Hamill's Joker's voice. But Mark Hamill would always crack those jokes and be the clown and comedian while being a psycho. And just looking at John's Joker in this cartoon after all this time, definitely a little bit more serious of a Joker.
I mean, Jason Todd's one of those characters that the best thing he ever did was die, because that's what actually gave him a story when he came back. I think it's interesting the suit they put him in. It's very Red Robin Tim Drake compared to actually ever being a Jason Todd Robin suit.
It's very Tim Drake. Absolutely.
It's just funny that nobody like.
Well, I mean, pretty much since Tim Drake's inception, his suit has basically been the standard for the Robin suit. You know, before that, the Robin suit was still very circus-like and
not cool.
Not practical. Yeah, not cool, but not practical. You know, they, especially the farther you go back. I mean, you know, there's no way that a Robin could do something without a tactical, you know, be efficient without the tactical advantages of the suit, as well as the protection the suit provides. So definitely since, and it's kind of messed up though when you think about it, that Tim Drake, a lot of his aspects have reached back now to be included in Dick Grayson's story and in Jason Todd's story, because, you know, he was created at a different time where he needed to have these things.
Yep.
But also now it's like it has to be reached back because the other Robins couldn't have existed or been effective without these things. So, but then Tim Drake always gets skipped over for Dick Grayson and Jason Todd and then Damian Wayne because he's now Robin. But you don't get to see Tim Drake and a lot of his stuff, his costume, his computer skills.
Yep.
His detective skills, even his bow staff have been reached back and given to previous Robins, and then he's completely skipped over. But his important things are what's being used.
And then they gave him the Red Robin moniker. And now let me ask you guys this.
Yeah. Well, I do want to say, like, that is another thing that is something that does bug me too. Like, Tim, I don't think Tim has got any interpretation in these comic movies, cartoons at all. Like, I don't know.
The New Adventures of Batman.
He was in New Adventures?
Yeah, he was kind of an amalgamation of Jason Todd and Tim Drake, but he was Tim Drake.
And then you have Tim
So
Drake
that would be it then.
He shows up in Young Justice.
Okay.
Yes, he does that as well.
And then, let's see.
But the fact that Young Justice has kind of a real-time thing, a real-time line going on, you actually get a Dick Grayson graphic from 13 years old. In season 3, you get to see, you know, 2 other characters, but also you get to get Tim Drake 5 years down the line, where they have a hologram memorial Jason Todd, and then Tim Drake is the Robin at that time.
Oh, okay.
All right, so here we go. The Red Hood first shows up, shooting the table where a bunch of mobsters are, drug peddling scumbags. Red Hood here, voiced by Jensen Ackles. For those who don't know who Jensen Ackles is, I feel sorry for you. But that's the man Dean Winchester. Or for all you Smallville fans, it's Jason Teague.
Yes, sir.
I like him as the Red Hood, and it's funny because I've gotten so used to the way he does his voice for Dean Winchester that hearing him talk a little bit more normal was odd. Now this is pretty
Right.
This is pretty interesting when he tosses in the duffel bags. And everyone's reaction just like,
yeah. And this part here is also, this is straight out of the comics as well.
He's back now.
So one thing I like about the Red Hood here that's very interesting is that he says to them, you guys doing drugs, you cannot deal to children. Like, don't be dealing to children. Keep your things going. I'm going to take over. And here's a whole duffel bag full of heads. So I'm going to kill people, and here's some heads here, but don't deal to children. Like, there's still this somewhat of a code, like, we're not going to mess with kids, but we're still going to be violent.
yeah.
And how...
Well, as the movie progresses later on, when he's talking to Batman, he understands that you can't stop crime, that you're never going to get in front of it.
Yes.
So in his mind, the best way to get in front of it is to actually control it. So violence among adults and criminals is one thing, but selling drugs to children, that's a big no-no, and he'll kill you for that.
Which is
he's still got a code. He has a line.
Now, what are your thoughts on Bruce Greenwood as Batman?
Well, he carried over to Young Justice, and
This is my second favorite Batman voice. Right now, like
I think he's really good.
If it's not Conroy, this is the Batman voice I want to hear.
I'm probably going to have to mute my mic and turn the volume up just so I can hear his voice. So, because I have no opinion.
Amazing.
Who's that guy?
It's amazing.
Bruce Greenwood is really good. He
He's big and giant.
he's charismatic enough as Batman, as well as he certainly has he brought a gruffness to his voice. I mean, there are pretty much almost three top Batman voices. I mean, even though I like Diedrich Bader, he's a completely different type of Batman. Kevin Conroy's the best, but Bruce Greenwood's really good. He's definitely second, I'd say. But I've gotten used to Jason O'Mara, Justice League War. He's been in so many.
Yeah, Jason. So
many. He's played Batman roles.
Yeah, he's the continuity Batman, and he's the only voice actor in continuity to stay. Because Justice League War, he's been in, I think, the most continuity films. And Justice League War had a different Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, and Superman.
Yep, Alan Tudyk was Superman in that one, and then it's been Jerry O'Connell since. Jason O'Mara's been the same. In that one, it was...
Michelle Monaghan was Wonder Woman, and now it's Rosario Dawson since Atlantis.
Yeah, and it was a different guy as Green Lantern, and Nathan Fillion has been Green Lantern since, except for that one stint where they had Jon Stewart in there.
Yeah, that don't count. It's a different character.
Shamar Moore's been Cyborg since Justice League War.
Okay, yeah. So it was just Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and Superman that changed, and then I think there's been some small ones that changed.
I think the Flash is still the same.
Christopher Gorman, I'm pretty sure he's still the same. But
How do you guys like Neil Patrick Harris as Nightwing?
I actually like it. It's pretty cool.
Yep.
I think, just to me, still, when I think Dick Grayson, it's always going to be Lauren Lester. Since he did Robin and then he did Nightwing. So no matter what, that's kind of the voice I hear.
Right. Well, now in the continuity film, it's Sean
Mayer.
Mayer, yeah.
He was on Firefly, and he was in Arrow as
Robot?
he was in the Suicide Squad episode of Arrow. Yeah, he was a robot.
Yeah, he was.
Cool. Huh?
I forget which character he played. He was River's brother. He was the doctor in Firefly.
Yep. Gotta love Firefly.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's a TV show I'll show you sometime.
I have never watched Firefly.
What?
I have never watched Firefly.
I think part of my soul just died.
I know, right?
I thought I knew you, Brian. I thought. Wow.
It has been sitting in the Netflix queue forever. I'm aware of its existence, but I think probably part of the reason why I haven't watched it yet is that what if I really love it and then I know that it's canceled and it's gone, and maybe I don't want to deal with that.
So there's a meme out there about Firefly where it's like something of like 13 hours or whatever of pure bliss and then a lifetime of withdrawal because it was so good.
I love Serenity, the movie.
Me too. I saw Serenity before I saw Firefly, and then I saw Firefly and I was like, this is not fair. So we got Batman chasing Red Hood.
Yeah. Back to the Batman and Red Hood. So Batman is in the bat plane.
Brian had to bring us down.
This is really cool, like when they do the CG in like 2D animation. So we have the bat plane flying in a bridge, under a bridge, chasing a car, which is pretty scary when you think about it. But it looks awesome.
Yeah, the maneuverability of the bat plane is outrageous. Outrageous.
It is Red Hood.
It is Red Hood.
I think the maneuverability of this plane is completely realistic. I mean, those sharp turns going down those tight alleys, completely and utterly realistic.
Yeah.
That plane is way. That plane is way beyond.
Yeah, it is.
And just so you know, I heard Batman's voice, and yes, I agree. Probably the second best Batman voice.
That's why I love that he does the voice in Young Justice.
Yeah, he's very good. He does the dramatic part of Batman really good, which is why in this movie, him being Batman with the emotion that is in this film, the way he feels that he failed Jason.
Yes. So right here, we're getting the flashback scene of when Batman was taking on the Red Hood originally, and he trips over and falls, thus giving the birth to the Joker.
The original Red Hood.
And now,
yeah,
the new Red
and how it all comes full circle.
The Red Hood's confronting him and saying, "Your first failure."
Calling it perhaps his greatest failure, but not his final failure. Alluding to Batman feeling like his greatest failure is the death of Jason. You know, the thing he feels worst about is a child in his care, you know, who was murdered in the line of duty, you know.
Yeah.
Even though he failed and the Joker was born and countless people have suffered, he still feels worse about one of his soldiers dying.
Why you like
in
James,
oh, go ahead,
what
Solo.
voice you like his Batman voice?
We like this guy. See, now look, I like this real quick about the Red Hood. Like, we see different incarnations of the Red Hood.
You know, the crazy thing about Jason Todd is that now before Crisis, Jason Todd, his parents were just like dicks. They were circus performers who ended up being killed by Killer Croc. And people liked that Jason Todd.
That was the
then
thing.
Lo and behold, what's that?
It wasn't until he died that he actually got some originality when he came back. Like, he was just basically cut and paste.
Cut and paste, Dick Grayson through and through.
And then they tried to give him like the rough kid from the streets.
Yeah, just stealing the tires off the Batmobile. My mom's a drug addict, you know. And people didn't like it. And DC's like, okay, call in to this number and let's see who wants to kill Jason Todd.
And he was ready to be killed.
So that's kind of one of my favorite lines that comes from just the interactions with Nightwing in this. They do have a history, a chemistry together with their fighting and dialogue back and forth. He's stirring up heat.
So guys,
Can't you for once say, let's get in the car? You know, you're supposed to be right on his heels. You're supposed to be right on Batman's heels. Like, if you're working with him, you need to know what he's thinking.
I love seeing Nightwing.
And here's Joker taunting Batman.
He just knocked his head over.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys think that they're gonna bring the Red Hood maybe into the continuity films?
I think so.
Like tie this into what's going on now?
I like them.
So we.
I hope they do, honestly.
And what's the?
Because he's a very big character in the comics and in animation and games these days. Because I mean, if they do the films and kind of like if they do the films anywhere close to the comics, I mean, Robin came around like a year after Batman started, and then it would be a handful of years before Dick Grayson moved because he was older, and then he would find Jason right after that. He started the movies already where he's a handful of years into his career. I mean, you could have Dick Grayson getting ready to move on and Jason Todd coming in or something. Yeah. Or even start with Dick Grayson gone and with Dick Grayson gone on his own and Jason Todd being the Robin.
Oh.
So, let the kid toys right here. Go toys go over there. I mean, I was gonna say, like, out of all the Bat family, like we talked about, you know, Tim hasn't been there yet, but the only one who hasn't really appeared yet has been Red Hood, Jason Todd. We haven't got Tim, we haven't got Red Hood. And out of the core Bat family.
Right.
Now we're getting Black Mask.
Well,
Which, let's talk about Black Mask for a minute. Are either of you like really well versed in Black Mask?
I know a good bit about Black Mask. I really, really enjoy him as a villain. I think he's completely underrated and underused. Should I go on what I know?
Yeah.
Okay, so he is like, I put in perspective, where Bruce has respect for his parents and what they built, Roman Sionis does not. He feels he's completely better than his parents, and he made that black mask out of the coffin of his father. If I hope I remember that right. Yes, I'm pretty sure I did.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, Roman Sionis, like total badass character, criminal Underwood, criminal underground, whatever. Very underused character. When he was announced for Batman Arkham Origins game, I was very excited. Somebody new, somebody that wasn't the Joker. I do love the Joker to death, but sometimes the Joker gets beaten to death. Like, he's just overused. So I like new villains. And then in Arkham Origins, when it was revealed that it was the Joker the whole time, I thought that was kind of disappointing because Black Mask is that psycho, that uncontrolled rage, that that unhinged villain that is so great. Definitely underutilized. So it's so great to have a movie and a story where he's at his best, like this story.
So we just got Dick shooting a grapple gun, trying to take down Red Hood in a helicopter.
Yeah, it's like some kind of like large grapple gun with like an electric disruptor of some sort to disrupt the controls of the helicopter.
I will say,
which is pretty awesome. He gets a line of missing the toys when he used to run with Batman.
I do think I like that Dick Grayson's so prevalent in this story because the first book I ever had where I learned that there was a Jason Todd was a book, and I still have it, where it's Jason Todd beat up as Robin and Nightwing's descending from the skylight. It's an issue of Batman, and it's the first book I read where I told a little bit about the story of who Nightwing was and who this Robin was. I just remember being like, oh, okay. So this is what's gone on in Batman. There's a new character.
So I mean, my first introduction, to Red Hood and Jason Todd was this movie. And then, subsequently reading, learning about him from here and reading and trying to catch up, learn some stuff. It's kind of crazy how, like, in media, as it were, so far, we, like, in the 90s when we had the movies, like, Chris O'Donnell was kind of like a mixture of Dick Grayson and Jason Todd.
Yes.
And then in the later 90s when we got the animated series, it was like Tim Drake was a mixture of Jason Todd and Tim Drake. So
we've never been able to. We've never just got
at all of them one by one.
But has Dick Grayson ever been Dick Grayson? I'd say so. That's maybe he's the only one that gets full respect, in my opinion.
When he was the only one who existed.
Yeah.
Dick Grayson definitely has had the most exposure over the years. And now, because he's the current Robin, Damian Wayne gets kind of like the next amount of exposure. It's only because of the tragic story and how it's been portrayed since his return and how interesting of a character he's become has Jason Todd become more popular. And it kind of leaves Tim Drake in the wind, you know. He's the last one.
So who would you guys say is your favorite Robin?
Hold that thought real quick. I just want to say this is where Nightwing and Bruce are discussing the video footage of Red Hood. Got to make sure we do it's Red Hood. And you know, him cutting the ankle line and what that means.
Yeah, that this Red Hood has had a lot of training and he's very skilled. Which, you know, we kind of didn't. We've been talking over it, but the chase scene when they're chasing Jason across the rooftops, when they're chasing Red Hood across the rooftop. Spoiler, since it's already given away. He's very impressive maneuvering. He impresses Dick Grayson, and you know, you suspect that Bruce is impressed, but obviously he would never show it or let it be known that he was impressed. But he makes a very skilled escape to get away from Batman at night.
Now we're seeing the flashback of Jason and Bruce when they first went out. You wanted to watch this. Come over here and watch this.
Which this is, and that right there, it shows Robin, Jason Todd cutting the line before it goes taut. Kind of a reference to what he had done to Batman. More impressively, cutting Batman's line because not many knives can cut Batman's line.
At the beginning, and then we see him a little bit older.
I love how they cut that. I love how they transitioned that. Like, we started with this playful kid that just kind of having fun there, and then it transitioned right into, okay, he's getting older now. He's getting a little bit more violent and uncontrollable here.
And this is kind of like one of their fallout. And you're seeing him discuss how he just doesn't care about the lives of those people. And he's starting to put it together. You know, I like the shot of him standing in front of Jason's costume.
Yeah, like he pretty much puts it together like right away. As soon as he knows that he's Bruce, or that he knows that Red Hood knows that he is Bruce, you know, he knows who he is. You know, Bruce knows everybody that knows who Batman is.
Well, do you think, from a continuity sense, do you think that he pieced it together so quickly because this story in continuity in comics takes place after Hush, where he was already joked that Jason was coming back or was back, and we didn't know where his body was. So Bruce was like, oh, okay. So his body really was taken. Or do you think it's just merely coincidental and I just like continuity too much?
You know, I think that's one thing I never mind. I'm not gonna say that on here. Spoilerish, but I
not even out for home video yet.
yeah, it's on digital.
Yes, don't do that. Don't do it.
Solomon, but I think
right.
in a way, maybe, but you know, I think it was just one of those. I think it sparked an interest in the character in Hush, and I think also just for the fact that this film has to move along, that it makes, you know, Batman's the greatest detective, whereas had this just been the comic, like it drags out for a little bit longer.
See, when I read Hush, like when it was coming out, and I read Hush, that part where, hey, this could be Jason all along, like that really pulled at me emotionally because I'm like, whoa, they're bringing Jason back, and this is Batman's greatest failure. It was a big deal. And then years later, when they really did this story of Jason coming back, like it was just definitely, oh, well, when we did this in Hush, yeah, this really tied in emotions. People like that. Yeah, you know what? Let's just bring him back.
Right. Well, for in this, for the movie, I mean, for continuity's sake, I mean, it makes sense. But you know, for the movie, I just kind of saw it as, you know, Batman being the greatest detective that he is. That he knew, that he knows who knows, that Bruce knows everybody that knows that he's Batman. So there's only a handful of people that it could be. So through a process of elimination, plus the, you know, he knows Jason Todd's abilities, his maneuvers, things like that, and you would need a certain amount of knowledge to be able to do stuff that he does. And then when he calls out his name, I mean, I just figured it was all that he knew he put it together that quickly.
I agree. So I was looking up Batman Under the Red Hood. Actually, it was called, when it was printed, it was Batman Under the Hood. Then later it was called Under the Red Hood. Was in November of 2004. And it went from 2004 to 2005. And Hush was 2002 to 2003, I think.
Yeah, there's Hush, and then there's a story called like Broken City, and then maybe one other one, and then this one.
In the comic books, they dragged it out a little more, but Batman also interacted with more people during this time. The flashback was of Captain Boomerang. He interacted with Superman at one point in the story.
Yeah, I mean, this is very streamlined. We're getting Batman and the Red Hood now kind of fighting together against some assassins that have been hired. Oh, that was awesome.
Or
that was when Batman, they threw a car at Batman and he went through the passenger door and out the driver's side door smooth.
'Cause I'm Batman.
'Cause I'm Batman. Yeah, besides a few things in this movie, when it comes to the fighting and the martial arts, some of the camera angles and just a few of the leaps here and there, you always got to suspend your disbelief, even when it comes to Batman, or maybe especially when it comes to Batman. But
We just got a great line by Red Hood. He said, "I got to admit, I miss watching you work."
Yeah, I like that too.
Because he is the best at what he does, and that's kind of what I'm getting at. He's amazing. The fighting in this, the hand-to-hand combat. Batman is quite efficient at what he's able to do.
Boom. I like how just Red Hood has a dang. The electricity just blew that dude's head up.
Mm-hmm.
They're all assassins.
Wow.
And at the time when this came out in 2010, it was still pretty early in this, and that was a big deal. The guy's head basically exploding all over the wall like that.
There's a lot of things like that in this, like the duffel bag, and then we'll have another one later where they get away with it just because of the subtlety of how it's used. And this is where we're getting Red Hood and Batman arguing about crime and what he's doing compared to what Batman's doing. I mean, it is kind of crazy. You think about Red Hood's only been around for what?
15 years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not.
I love the line that Red Hood says to him. You know, you fight these criminals, and most of them are afraid. But what do you do to the ones that aren't afraid of you? And he's like, I take those guys out. And like, that's what Batman always focuses on, is the criminals are a superstitious lot and a cowardly lot. You know, I place fear in them. And for Red Hood to say, what about ones that are not afraid of you? Like, yeah, that's powerful stuff.
I mean,
well, you know,
criminals
that's
are
how
afraid
he.
of him. Super villains are not.
Yeah.
And that's what
Batman.
Yep.
Yeah, he started as going after the regular criminals, the criminals on the street, organized crime, that kind of stuff. But when it escalated, that's when things got crazy, and that's when Batman even had to up his game, and when he became so much better at what he did.
Yeah, I mean, it just changes everything. I like we're here we are seeing good old Black Mask beating up on his people.
Right. And there's nothing they do but stand there and take it.
Yeah. I mean, I am interested to see what we get with our live action Black Mask coming up in Birds of Prey.
Oh, we're gonna go there.
Portrayal, but I'm interested in the portrayal, but I'm definitely excited to see what Ewan McGregor does. I mean, I have no doubt he's going to be good, but I just wonder what their portrayal is supposed to be.
I just love Ewan McGregor, so
yeah, I'm gonna love it no matter what because of that. But depending on, perhaps the accuracy, maybe, we'll see where that lands.
As long as Ewan McGregor as Black Mask has the high ground in the movie, I think I'll be okay.
He'll never be defeated.
Never mind.
You can't be defeated if you have the high ground.
Never mind. You're not getting it.
I do get it.
We know.
All right.
So I said, as long as he has the high ground, he even says, you can't take me. I have the high ground.
Don't try it. Sorry. I love Ewan McGregor. I loved just about everything he's done. But I'm not a fan. I'm just not a fan of changing characters just to change them. Like, it doesn't do anything for the story. It's not like a character development. It's not like, it's not a growth thing for the character. It's just, you know what? Let's just change something about the character because we want to hit some minority or whatever. I'm not a fan of that. That's just me. Like, it's one thing to change an aspect of a character that's already existing, as it is to saying, okay, we're going to make Falcon Captain America. Like, that's a totally different thing, because Captain America is the representation of America and stuff. So Falcon being in Captain America is awesome. It's perfectly fine, and it makes sense story-wise. But, like, just changing little aspects of characters just to change them, I'm just not a fan of. That's just me.
So we have Bruce opening Jason's coffin. Him and Alfred with the backhoe.
Yeah. Did you call it a bat hoe or a backhoe? Anyway. Yeah. Black Mask's people broke out the Joker from Arkham Asylum right before this.
It's because it's a dummy. It's a mannequin, Solomon.
And Bruce Greenwood's performance. Yeah, Bruce Greenwood's performance right here. Like, he's mad. Like, the emotion he goes through, he is steaming. Because he let emotion dictate something, like, he let emotion dictate what was going on, and he didn't bother to look any farther into what had happened. Jason being dead, Jason was dead. Made the proper preparations from there, but didn't do what he would normally do. And now he blames himself for Jason being back and everything that's happened.
Here we go. The Joker eating chips and choking and asks for water. Never give the Joker anything. Boom.
Anything.
Kind of reminds me a little bit of The Dark Knight Returns, where he gets the coffee mug. So he just shot and killed all black masked people, and now he's holding the gun, just cracking up.
I like John DiMaggio's laugh. I thought his Joker was really good. Joker kind of had taken a turn. He had been really funny for a long time in a lot of media, especially and stuff like that. He'd been the clown, But once Heath Ledger's Joker came out, and then the Arkham games started coming out, the Joker was able to be scary and dark and violent and good at what he, and he was able to kill people and take people head on.
And here we have Batman attacking Ra's al Ghul. Just straight up attacking.
I love Ra's al Ghul. I just gotta say it. One of my favorite Batman villains of all time.
It's crazy the just blatant, like, usually Batman would not come at him like that, but he just does not care.
This version of Ra's al Ghul that you've seen this version across a lot of mediums. You've seen this version in the comics, and you've seen this version in animation and stuff like that, where he's very methodical, and he doesn't mind spilling blood and killing people, but it must have a purpose, And this version is the version that I prefer the most. When he's going crazier and crazier from the Lazarus pit, things like that, it can kind of get a little bit like that version that one doesn't resonate more. So this version, he's very intelligent and he'll do what he needs to do. I like this version.
I like this version as well. I also I find DiMaggio's Joker, at first I didn't like it, but then it grew on me over time. And here we're getting Roz talking about why he did what he did with the Lazarus pit. He's going to turn back.
Yeah. Speaking of DiMaggio's Joker, like I enjoyed it right away, and how they brought Bruce Greenwood over to Young Justice. I had always hoped, because I'm pretty sure that John DiMaggio actually does voices in Young Justice, because I'm pretty positive that he plays the exact same character in Young Justice as he did in the Green Arrow animated short that they did, the showcase for Green Arrow. He plays this exact same character from that as he does in Young Justice. I kind of wished that they would have let DiMaggio be the Joker in Young Justice as opposed to Brent Spiner, because they only had him in one episode, and honestly, probably the worst Joker.
I agree with you completely. I did not like Brent Spiner's Joker at all. I didn't feel like he was creepy, but that wasn't like Joker, because there has to be a playfulness to it as well.
He's like an emo Joker or something.
Yeah. It just didn't, I don't know, it just didn't feel right.
Which Joker are you talking about, guys? I'm sorry.
Young Justice.
Yeah, I'm not far enough, I guess.
It's in.
I'm almost done with season 1.
Yeah, he's in season 1.
Yeah, with the
I just watched
Injustice Society.
I just watched the episode where they brought in Artemis. That's kind of how far I've got.
Okay, it's still a handful of episodes away. There's an episode where they go to the swamp to deal with the Injustice Society, and it's like Count Vertigo, Wotan, Black Adam, the Joker, Poison Ivy.
Okay.
It's a very good episode, and when you look at the levels of the characters and who's doing what and where they're at, it's actually very good. Just like the entire show is written extremely well.
Yeah, I've been very, very impressed with it so far.
what's amazing about that show is things from episode 1 still carry over through season 2 and beyond. Like, it's fantastic. It's a very, very well written show.
Well, as a man that loves continuity, my kind of thing.
So Ra's al Ghul just finished up his story to Batman about the night that he put Jason's body back in the Lazarus pit and what happened.
Yeah, Jason came back kind of psychotic, killed a bunch of people, and jumped out the window and disappeared. Because at that point, Ra's had never brought anybody back from the dead. Like, he had never been brought back from the dead. He'd probably been brought back from fatal wounds, but he'd never been brought back from the dead. At least in this version, in this comic.
So, and it was Ra's, in a way, trying to do something nice and redemptive for Batman.
Yeah, correct
Yeah,
or wrong.
I don't. Okay. Yeah, I don't think there's any villain that respects Batman as much as Ra's.
Ra's is always interesting because sometimes he's written as like a real villain, and sometimes he's not.
Yeah. I was just reading the other day the first introduction of Ra's by Neil Adams and Denny O'Neil. And Ra's seriously just shows up in the Batcave with his assistant, and Batman's like, "Who the heck are you?" He's like, "I'm Ra's al Ghul," and Bruce is like, "Well, how did you get in here?" He's like, "Well, I detected that the Batman would have to be someone very wealthy that could afford these toys, and I just put 2 and 2 together." And Bruce just takes off his mask and looks at him and says, "You know what? I guess that's gonna have to be a plot hole or a little hole I'm gonna have to plug real quick." So I think maybe that's where Bruce was really like, "You know what? Maybe I have some holes in this Batman venture here."
Here we go. This is like the Red Hood confronting the Joker. And I kind of wonder, like, how much time has elapsed, since Jason's death and resurrection in the story here.
Right. I'm not sure if they talk about like how many years it's been since Jason died.
They don't. And there's no sign of Tim yet or anything.
Right. So yeah, I mean that is something that's something I'm not sure of within this continuity, because there should be a Tim at this point, long before Jason's resurrection. But also the story, he was a teenager when he died, and now he's a fully grown man. I mean, there's like at least 5 years if he was an older teenager when he died to be in his early 20s.
See, Joker said, "Have we met before?"
John DiMaggio's Joker, there's a couple of points in this movie, like on the bridge here, he had a line and I missed it. I love it because I laughed so hard. But then also later on when he's getting beaten by him, there's a couple of times in this movie where John DiMaggio's Joker actually backpedals. And you don't see that very often. Like they actually strike a chord in him.
I like this right here where Joker sets the people on fire and the Red Hood doesn't move. And then Batman has to stop and put out the fire. And then he's trying to get the Joker out of there, which is interesting because it goes back to our ongoing discussion about should Batman have killed the Joker, or maybe not have always saved the Joker. Like, that's like his ongoing thing.
Yeah. It's an ongoing struggle, which, you know, his lines coming up when he's talking to Jason, as opposed, you know, when he's actually talking to Jason without the hood and in view as the Joker, like, it's what he wants to do. He wants to kill the Joker, but, you know, he knows he can't.
I love this scene. Just the symmetry of the Red Hood now beating the Joker with a crowbar. And the way they animate it's very similar to the scene we saw in the beginning of Joker beating Tim with a crowbar. And I'm sorry, if I got pelted like this with a crowbar, man, that would bruise and that would hurt. I'd be done. Break your arm in the swing. These people get hit and keep on talking.
Yeah. That's actually one of the back pedals that Joker does right there. Are we gonna play truth or dare? I pick dare. And then he pulls out a crowbar. He's like, on second thought, I go with truth. He actually puts some fear in the Joker when he pulls out that crowbar. Like, crap.
And here we have our little flashback type thing of Batman going to his car and Jason stealing tires. I want to know, the Batmobile didn't have, something blocking where you couldn't get into the tires? Like, that surprises me. The lug nuts being protected.
Well, I think that's why he was impressed by Jason. The fact that he could get the tires off the Batmobile. Because I don't think anybody just could. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that impressed him.
I love that right there. Batman and Red Hood fighting and the rockets on the dumpster.
Yeah, this whole fight scene is really good. A lot of the moments are out of the comic book panels, which is really cool. It's actually in the comics, like during this fight is the reveal, but this fight actually doesn't go into the very end. The fight is a little earlier on but it's the reveal that he is Jason.
Yep.
So, but that slice on the neck is directly out of the comics though as well, showing the armor underneath the cowl on the neck. He's protected everywhere.
I like the hood, like just how it does right here. There it is, Jason.
Well, how it opens up and he takes it off.
Oh, that's the real Redhood?
Yep.
Why is it supposed to be really?
What, buddy? Yeah, that's the good Red Hood now. He's being good guy now. He's turning good guy. He blew up his helmet.
Why?
Distract him.
Oh, he's gonna get the other helmet?
He will, but it's not in this one. Intimidation and murder.
Not in this one?
Nope. This is him and Batman fighting it out. So what do you think, Solomon? You like this one? Yeah.
I thought Redhood was somebody else.
Yeah.
No, was it?
Yeah.
We're both just a
Some boring window jump.
yeah.
Take off.
This part here in the bathroom, though, this is my favorite part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Where like enough, it's over. And he just starts laying into him.
He's angry.
You want to be, yeah. He's like, you want to be me, you can't be me, not like this. But the beating he gives him, Jason should be bloody and bruised and beaten right now. The beating that he gives him in this bathroom. But
I love this, where he says, "I try to save you now," and what he says right here. His whole speech about "you let me die."
yeah,
Where he says, "I forgive you for not saving me, but why on God's earth is he still alive?" And there's the Joker laughing. We'll get one of me and the kid, then of me, and then one with the crowbar. What was
and then one with the crowbar. And then this is where he backpedals again. When you'll keep your mouth shut or I'll put one in your lap first. Because he's quiet after that.
You don't think you've ever understood.
I'm not sure if yours kind of goes a tick faster or it just was a little bit farther ahead.
I don't know. Maybe it's the speed of the streaming versus the
No,
DVD.
God Almighty, no, because that's what just be too damned easy. That's where I'm at.
But if I do that, I'll allow myself to go down into that place.
That's where I'm at.
And then end him.
I'll never come back.
That's where
if
I'm
I
at.
kill him.
Aw, so you do think about. Yeah, you guys are a few seconds ahead of me. That's okay. I said the other night, I've seen this movie so many times, I really don't need to watch it. I don't have to watch it, and I could commentary on it as you guys are talking, and I know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
Like me and my ex, this was our favorite. This was our favorite for a very long time. She actually did an English paper on this movie. So
That's awesome.
We'll see.
You know, I would have really liked if they had Jason blow his brains out.
Yeah, if we're gonna change it, let's change it up.
Right.
Right. And I mean, this was very loyal, obviously, but just even in the comic story, like what that would make for a good story. What if Jason just really would have blew the Joker's brains out? I love how Batman dodges that bullet, by the way. That was great.
Throws the batarang into the gun. Gun explodes in Jason's hand. Joker's laughing.
I love what he calls him. He calls him an eagle-eyed, goth-loving marksman.
He managed to find a way to win, yet everybody still loses. Man.
20 seconds seems like a long time. That's crazy. The Joker's ready to die with them both.
That's funny. I know he calls him an eagle-eyed, goth-loving marksman. I hadn't even got to that part, and I got it word for word.
So we saw Batman grab Jason, and then we saw the explosion.
Because he can't let him die twice.
And there's Batman in the rubble.
What's up there?
I don't know, buddy. We gotta find out. There's Joker, laughing under some rock.
Like, with Joker being the closest to the explosion and him grabbing Jason, like, he got Jason out of the way, but, you know, they were all caught in the explosion, but Jason made it out.
Black Mask going to jail. Ra's al Ghul watching it from his plane.
And of course, you know, they say that the guards implicated in Joker's escape and Black Mask conspiracy were murdered in the jail.
So we have Batman looking at Jason's costume, and Alfred walks up behind him. He asks him if he'd like to remove the costume. Batman says no. Doesn't change anything. That's cold. Think about it, that's really cold.
He still blames himself for everything that's happened. He still blames himself for the way Jason is.
And then here we get
failures letting him die.
We get Alfred's flashback.
And this is a gut punch for the end of the movie.
It gets me every time.
I tear up every single time because this kid is so happy.
And even Bruce is happy.
Yeah. He's smiling.
I got you, Batman. I got you.
If I hadn't seen you slip behind the computer bank 3 minutes ago.
Oh, this is when he was young.
This is the best day of my life.
And then that's just, I mean, it's
such a happy kid and a tragic story.
Sadly the way it should go. All right.
Fantastic movie.
What's your final thoughts now that it's over? We watched it. What do you think? Was it good? Yeah.
I want to watch it.
Okay. We'll watch it again sometime.
Hey, Daddy.
So, all right. Well, that ends our Batman Under the Red Hood discussion and our...
We may have gone off topic a few times, too many, but we're good. You're watching it along with us. You like it as much as we do.
So, all right. Solomon, you want to say, we're going to go to bed here soon. You want to say night to James and Brian?
Good night, guys. But
Night, bud.
I have
Good night, buddy.
10 minutes.